What does it take to turn a struggling fight promotion into a multi-billion-dollar global empire? Look no further than Dana White, the man behind the meteoric rise of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC. As the president of UFC, Dana White didn't just guide the organization. He revolutionized mixed martial arts, MMA, entirely. With an outspoken personality and a relentless drive, White has become synonymous with the sport itself. But how did he rise to this level of influence, and what legacy does he leave behind? Let's dive into the life and career of Dana White, a man who transformed the fight game and left an indelible mark on sports history. Early life and background. Dana White was born on July 28, 1969 in Manchester, Connecticut. Raised in a working-class household, White's upbringing wasn't always stable. He spent his formative years bouncing between Las Vegas, Maine, and Boston. Despite the challenges, White found solace in sports and developed a deep passion for boxing and martial arts early on. In Boston, White began managing local boxers and working as a trainer. However, his path to success was anything but smooth. Struggling to make ends meet, he worked odd jobs while attempting to carve out a niche in the fight industry. During this time, White forged connections that would later prove invaluable, including a friendship with future UFC co-owners Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta. Acquisition of UFC. The UFC was founded in 1993, but faced an uncertain future by the late 1990s. The organization was plagued by financial losses, regulatory issues, and a reputation as a brutal, unregulated spectacle. Enter Dana White. In 2001, White learned that Semaphore Entertainment Group, the original owners of the UFC, were looking to sell. He approached the Fertitta brothers with a proposal: purchase the UFC and give it a fresh start. The Fertittas agreed, acquiring the organization for just $2 million, with Dana White installed as president. At the time, the UFC was far from the polished product we know today. Events were banned in many states, and public perception was overwhelmingly negative. But White saw potential in the sport's raw, unfiltered intensity. He believed that with the right strategy, MMA could rival traditional sports in popularity, transforming UFC into a global brand. Dana White's tenure as UFC president began with a clear mission: to legitimize MMA and grow the UFC into a mainstream brand. His approach combined innovation, aggressive marketing, and a deep understanding of what fans wanted. One of his earliest breakthroughs was The Ultimate Fighter, TUF, a reality TV show that aired in 2005. TUF brought MMA into millions of households, showcasing the sport's athleticism and drama. The show's finale, featuring a legendary bout between Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonnar, is credited with sparking a surge in the UFC's popularity. White also worked tirelessly to secure regulatory approval for MMA. He lobbied athletic commissions across the United States to adopt the unified rules of MMA, which emphasized fighter safety and professional standards. This effort paved the way for the UFC to hold events in major markets like Las Vegas and New York. Under White's leadership, the UFC also secured groundbreaking partnerships. Deals with networks like Fox and later ESPN brought MMA to mainstream sports fans, while sponsorship agreements with brands like Reebok and Venom elevated the UFC's profile. White spearheaded the introduction of UFC Fight Pass, a streaming service that expanded the organization's global reach. By the 2010s, the UFC was hosting events worldwide, from Brazil to China, and generating record-breaking pay-per-view sales. Iconic fights featuring stars like Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, and Khabib Nurmagomedov further cemented the UFC's place in pop culture. Controversies and criticisms. Despite his success, Dana White has not been without controversy. One of the most persistent criticisms leveled against him is the issue of fighter pay. Many athletes have argued that UFC fighters are underpaid compared to their counterparts in other major sports. Calls for unionization have gained traction over the years, but White has consistently resisted such efforts. White's outspoken nature has also led to public feuds with fighters, media members, and even fans. Whether it's a heated exchange on social media or a controversial press conference comment, White's no-holds-barred approach often makes headlines. While some admire his candor, others see it as a liability. Additionally, White has faced backlash for his handling of certain events, such as the UFC's decision to proceed with events during the COVID-19 pandemic. Critics argued that the organization prioritized profits over safety, though White defended the move as necessary for the sport's survival. Key achievements. Despite the controversies, Dana White's list of achievements is undeniable. Under his leadership, the UFC grew from a struggling promotion to a global powerhouse valued at over $10 billion. He played a pivotal role in the 2016 sale of the UFC to Endeavor, formerly WME-IMG, for $4 billion, one of the largest transactions in sports history. White also oversaw some of the most iconic moments in MMA history, including the Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, which shattered pay-per-view records. Ronda Rousey's rise as a trailblazer for women's MMA. Historic events like UFC 229, which drew millions of viewers worldwide. Personal leadership style. Dana White's leadership style is as distinctive as his personality. Known for his no-nonsense approach, White is deeply involved in every aspect of the UFC, from matchmaking to promotional strategy. He's often described as a workaholic who thrives under pressure. White's willingness to take risks has been a hallmark of his career. Whether it's organizing events in uncharted markets or betting big on unproven fighters, he's never shied away from bold decisions. This approach has earned him both admiration and criticism, but there's no denying its impact. Legacy in MMA. Dana White's contributions to MMA are unparalleled. He transformed a fringe sport into a mainstream phenomenon, bringing legitimacy, structure, and star power to the UFC. Today, MMA is recognized as one of the fastest-growing sports in the world, thanks in no small part to White's vision. White's influence extends beyond the UFC. He's inspired countless promoters and fighters, setting a benchmark for what's possible in combat sports. His impact is evident in the growth of MMA organizations worldwide and the sport's increasing acceptance among casual and hardcore fans alike. Future plans and challenges. As Dana White continues to lead the UFC, he remains focused on expanding the organization's global footprint. This includes hosting more events in international markets, nurturing emerging talent, and embracing new technologies like NFTs and the metaverse to engage fans. However, challenges loom on the horizon. Competition from other promotions, evolving fighter demands, and the ever-changing sports landscape will test White's leadership in the years to come. From a struggling promotion on the brink of collapse to a global juggernaut, the UFC's rise is a testament to Dana White's relentless drive and vision. Love him or hate him, White has left an indelible mark on MMA and sports as a whole. What's Dana White's legacy? It's simple. He didn't just promote fights. He built a platform where fighters could become legends and where fans could witness the extraordinary. And for that, the world of MMA will forever owe him a debt of gratitude.